Hey, welcome to Stats Performance Systems, and today we're going to go over the low bar squat. Now, the low bar squat, typically you're going to see powerlifters and people with longer limbs using them. Reason being is because for people with longer limbs, you're going to be able to sit back a little bit more and open yourselves up, not have to be quite as vertical as you are in a high bar squat. The reason why powerlifters use it is because you're going to be utilizing the hamstrings and the glutes a little bit more than you would in a high bar squat. Now, I'm going to go right into it, and I'll discuss about further topics as we go along. So I like to go with my hands like a little bit outside of my shoulder width. So this bar has two rings, two power rings. I like to go on the second power ring. My pinky's on the second power ring. All right. So as I go to get under, I try to think about sandwiching the bar between my traps and my rear delts as tightly as possible. As I'm going underneath, I'm wedging my body tightly into the position, squeezing my rear delts together, pushing my shoulder blades down. Now, as I'm gonna get ready to come out, I try to make sure that my ribs are set right underneath my pelvis, all right? I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna redo that again and talk about a few more things you wanna think about before you go to rack. You wanna make sure you have your feet fully drilled into the ground and purposefully step out as you're walking back. Try to keep it between 3 to 4 steps. And I'm gonna display that right now. All right, so wedge yourself in tightly, set your feet, get a breath, rib down, on the rack. Now, the whole time I'm stepping back, I'm having my eyes fixed on a certain part, all right? When I'm right here, my shoulder blades are pinned together, my rib cage is down. I'm not trying to think about being super upright. I'm allowing the shoulders to be in line with the middle of my foot. That's gonna be right here for me. Now, for everybody's gonna be a little bit interdependent. Some people are gonna be more upright. Some people are gonna lean forward a little bit more. For me, it's about this position. My feet are a little bit outside of my shoulders. Now, as I get ready to go down, I really try to screw everything into position. And I get my breath nice and tightly, brace down, and open up as I'm sitting into position. Now, once I'm about right here, where the knees are a little bit underneath my hip socket, I drive up forcefully. All right, I'm gonna give you another one. I'm gonna step away and talk about a few more things before I rack the bar up. All right, so now I'm gonna grab the belt. Now I'm gonna explain why you wanna breathe in that tightly and how a belt can aid in using more muscles. So for me, I like to get a belt about this tight where I can still fit a hand inside. Any tighter than that, I don't think you're gonna be able to get a good breath in and a good enough brace. Now, when you're breathing in, you wanna think about how tightly your belly is when you're shaking your soda can. All right, so everything expands and pushes up against the belt. I'm gonna show you again. Come a little bit closer. Look at me from the side. That's how you want to try to engage your brace. And again, we're not trying to think about being so upright. I'm going to walk into it again and I'm going to show you with the weight on my back. If you keep the belly nice and engaged, you're going to be able to pressurize your cylinder and you're going to be able to drive the force that you have from your feet up through the body. Now, if this is loose and you don't have this fully engaged, you're going to get a leakage in power as you ascend in your movement. And for powerlifting, or low bar specifically, is all about trying to be in the correct position as you're going down. So with high bar, there's not much to really think about. You kind of just drop and come right out of it. With the low bar, is going to take a little bit more skill as you go into it. You want to try to sit where you're in a position where your shoulders, and come over through the sides so you can see me a little bit more, your shoulders stay in full balance with the middle of the foot. Now, if I'm trying to think about being super upright, I'm going to be thrown out of balance. And if I lean in too much, you're going to be thrown out of balance. Which is why I don't like to use the cue chest up, because if you got your chest up, it's going to automatically throw you out of position. I like to think about widening out my back and keeping my torso in the same exact position as I descend. And as I descend in my squat, I'm thinking about finding a perfect spot where I'm naturally balanced, where I'm able to use my quads, my glutes, and my hamstrings evenly. Now, of course, because you're in a low bar, you're going to use a little bit more glutes than you normally would on the high bar. But if you're staying nice and balanced, you're going to be able to distribute the force through the whole entire leg. So, to go over it again, I drill myself in position and come over to my back so you can see me a little bit more and see how much I'm really wedging myself into the bar. You actually want to think about pushing yourself in. I see a lot of people going and setting up nice and loose. You want to think about getting as tightly as possible and as rigid as possible. It shouldn't be the most comfortable thing. It should be a little uncomfortable by how hard you're squeezing and staying tight in position. Now, as I descend, again, you want to think about falling into a correct, balanced spot where the weight stays in line with the middle of the foot, and you're controlling yourself down, not just dive bombing into position. Because you're going to use your glutes as a springboard to drive yourself back up.